Rejected for being too dark, Adaze had nothing left to lose, until a stranger offered her a month on his farm. Now she must choose between guarding her heart and risking it all on a love that defies every expectation. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you are watching from and make sure to subscribe, because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. Adaze Okafor stood in the crowded international terminal of Chicago O'Hare Airport, clutching her small suitcase with white knuckles. At 28, she was striking, tall with deep ebony skin, high cheekbones, and expressive eyes that held both intelligence and apprehension. Her colorful head wrap stood in stark contrast to the sea of muted winter coats surrounding her. She had traveled over 6,000 miles from her home in Nigeria to meet the man who had chosen her from an international matchmaking service, a man who had seen only carefully selected photographs and exchanged a handful of supervised video calls. She scanned the crowd for a sign with her name. The matchmaking agency had assured her that her soon-to-be husband, Robert Kensington, would be waiting. After spending her life savings on this journey, failure wasn't an option. Her family back home depended on her success, on the promise of a better life and the financial support she could provide from America. Finally, she spotted a middle-aged man in a suit holding a tablet with Adaze displayed in bold letters. Relief washed over her as she approached him. "Mr. Kensington?" she asked, her English precise and formal. The man looked startled. "No, ma'am. I'm Martin, Mr. Kensington's assistant. I'm afraid there's been a situation." He avoided meeting her eyes. "If you'll follow me to the car, I can explain." As they drove through the unfamiliar city, Martin cleared his throat awkwardly. "Mr. Kensington sent me to inform you that he has reconsidered the arrangement. He feels there was a misrepresentation." Martin's voice trailed off. Adaze felt her heart sink. "Misrepresentation?" Martin shifted uncomfortably. "He claims your photos didn't accurately portray your appearance." He didn't need to elaborate further. Adaze understood immediately. Her photographs had been professionally lit and edited by the agency, lightening her complexion significantly. "He's rejecting me because I'm too dark," she stated flatly. Martin couldn't meet her eyes in the rearview mirror. "He's arranged for a hotel room for 3 nights and a return ticket. I'm sorry." Adaze sat in stunned silence, trying to process this devastating turn of events. 3 nights in a strange country before being sent home in disgrace, with no money left and no prospects. The shame of returning home a failure was unthinkable. That evening, as Adaze sat alone in her hotel room contemplating her options, her phone rang. It was Sarah Bennett, her contact at the international matchmaking agency. "Adaze, I just heard what happened." "I'm absolutely horrified." Sarah's voice was filled with genuine distress. "Robert Kensington has been removed from our service immediately. This is completely unacceptable." "It doesn't matter now," Adaze replied quietly. "I have nothing to return to. My family sold land for this opportunity." Sarah hesitated before continuing. "There may be another option. We have a client. He's not like our usual members. He joined recently, lives several hours outside Chicago. He's seen your unedited profile and specifically asked about you." Adaze's grip tightened on the phone. "Is this a joke?" "No," Sarah assured her. "His name is Jack Whitaker. He owns a large organic farm in Wisconsin. He's quite wealthy, actually. A self-made millionaire who's expanded his family farm into something impressive. He's 35, never married, and he's serious about finding a partner who understands hard work and building something meaningful. And he knows what I look like." "The real me?" Adaze asked skeptically. "Yes. He specifically mentioned appreciating your natural beauty and your background in agricultural economics. He's invited you to stay at his guest house for a month. completely proper, separate buildings, to see if you might be compatible. All expenses covered, and if it doesn't work out, he'll still pay for your return flight home. No obligations. Adaze was silent, weighing her limited options. A month would at least give her time to figure out an alternative plan if this too fell through. "He can pick you up tomorrow," Sarah added. "I know it's not ideal, but it's a chance." After a sleepless night, Adaze found herself standing in the hotel lobby the next morning, watching a dusty truck pull into the circular drive. A tall man, with sun-weathered skin and auburn hair, stepped out, scanning the entrance before his eyes landed on her. This was Jack Whitaker, dressed not in the business suit she expected, but in well-worn jeans, work boots, and a flannel shirt with the sleeves rolled up. He carried himself with quiet confidence as he approached. "Adaze?" His voice was deep with a subtle Midwestern accent. When she nodded, he extended his hand. "I'm Jack. I appreciate you considering my invitation, especially after what you've been through. I promise you'll have your own space and complete freedom to leave anytime you want." As they drove the 3 hours north to his farm, Adaze was surprised by Jack's thoughtful questions about her education, her family's farming techniques in Nigeria, and her own ideas about sustainable agriculture. Not once did he comment on her appearance or make her feel like an exotic curiosity. Whitaker Organic Farms sprawled across hundreds of acres of Wisconsin countryside. As they drove through the gates, Adaze was struck by the beautiful blend of traditional farm structures and modern, efficient systems. Solar panels gleamed on barn roofs, while workers of various ethnicities moved purposefully across the property. "It's not what most people expect," Jack commented, noticing her surprise. "My grandfather started with 50 acres. I expanded and modernized when I took over after college. We supply organic produce to major retailers across the Midwest now." The guest house was charming, a renovated carriage house with its own kitchen, bedroom, and sitting area. "Take some time to settle in," Jack told her. "Join me for dinner at the main house if you feel up to it. If not, the fridge is stocked." Over the following days, Adaze found herself genuinely enjoying Jack's company. He asked her opinion on farm operations, listened intently to her ideas, and even implemented her suggestion for a more efficient irrigation system. Unlike Robert, who had wanted a subservient wife to show off at country club events, Jack seemed to value her mind and expertise, but skepticism kept her guard up. A nagging voice reminded her that this could be temporary charity, or worse, some kind of savior complex on Jack's part. The turning point came 3 weeks into her stay. Adaze was helping with the harvest when Jack's sister Kate arrived for a surprise visit with her husband and 2 children. "So, you're the agricultural economist Jack won't stop talking about," Kate said warmly after introductions. "He says your ideas about crop rotation could increase our yield by 20%. Later that evening, Kate found Adaze alone on the porch. "You know, my brother has never brought anyone home before, not once in all these years." "He's being kind," Adaze replied carefully. "After what happened in Chicago, Jack doesn't do pity," Kate interrupted. "Trust me, he's the most straightforward person I know. If he's sharing the farm with you, showing you the books, asking your opinion on expansion plan, that's not charity. That's Jack seeing someone he considers an equal." After Kate's family left, Adaze decided to be equally straightforward. At dinner that night, she asked Jack directly, "Why did you contact the agency about me? The truth, please." Jack considered her question seriously. "I saw someone with expertise I respect and a perspective I don't have. Someone beautiful, yes. I won't pretend I don't find you attractive. But mainly someone who understands what it means to build something from the ground up." He paused. "My first reaction was actually anger at how the agency had edited your photos to make you lighter. It seemed dishonest and suggested they didn't think your natural beauty was enough. I strongly disagreed." As Adaze's month at Whitaker Farms neared its end, Her feelings for Jack had grown complicated. His respect for her was evident, and their easy companionship had blossomed into something deeper. Yet fear held her back. The trauma of rejection in Chicago, uncertainty about her status in America, and concerns about cultural differences. Her worries intensified when they attended a local agricultural conference together. As they moved through the predominantly white crowd, she noticed the stares and whispers. During a networking session, she overheard an older farmer say to Jack, "So you're the one who imported yourself a foreign bride. Couldn't find anyone suitable locally, huh?" Jack's response was immediate and firm. "Adaze has a master's degree in agricultural economics and has increased our operational efficiency by 15% in 3 weeks. I'm lucky she's considering a position with us. And I'd appreciate you keeping your outdated assumptions to yourself, Bill." The man reddened and mumbled an apology, but the damage was done. Later that night, Adaze confronted Jack in the kitchen of the main house. "Is that what this is? A job offer?" Her voice was tight with hurt. "Or am I still part of some mail order? Arrangement?" Jack looked genuinely confused. "Neither. Both? I don't know what to call this, Adaze. I know how we met was unconventional. But what's developed between us feels real to me." "And what happens when the novelty wears off? When your neighbors keep making comments? When your business associates assume I'm some exotic acquisition?" "People's ignorance is their problem, not ours," Jack said firmly. "Easy for you to say," Adaze fired back. "You don't understand what it's like to always be seen as other, to have your worth constantly questioned." Jack was quiet for a long moment. "You're right. I don't fully understand. I can't. But I'm willing to learn, to listen, to stand with you. And I'm asking if you're willing to give us, whatever this is, a real chance." He reached for her hand. "No arrangements, no obligations, just two people figuring it out together." The next morning, Adaze rose early and walked the perimeter of the farm, thinking through her decision. Near the eastern fields, she found Jack already working, helping his team repair an irrigation line, before the day's heat set in. He worked alongside his employees, hands just as dirty, offering suggestions rather than commands. He caught sight of her watching and smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes. In that moment, she knew. This wasn't about fulfilling an arrangement or finding security anymore. This was about choosing a partner who saw her completely, her mind, her strength, her flaws, her beauty, and valued all of it. When Jack approached later that afternoon, she was sitting on the porch of the guest house with her suitcase beside her. His face fell at the sight. "You're leaving." "I'm moving my things," she corrected, standing to meet his eyes. "If the offer still stands, I'd like to stay. Not as your guest or your employee or some arrangement, but as someone choosing to see where this goes, as equals." Relief washed over his face. "The offer absolutely stands." "I need to return to Nigeria first," she said firmly. "To visit my family, explain things properly, tie up loose ends, then come back on my own terms, with my own visa, not through any agency." Jack nodded, understanding the importance of her reclaiming her agency in this story. "I'll be here when you return." 3 months later, Adaze did return, with a proper work visa sponsored by an agricultural consulting firm in Madison that Jack had connected her with. She took a position there while continuing to advise on Whitaker Farms operations. She lived in her own apartment in town for the first year, building her independent life and reputation in the community. Their romance developed slowly and authentically. Jack learned about Nigerian culture, eventually traveling with Adaeze to meet her family. Adaeze navigated the complexities of rural American life, finding her own social circles and allies. 2 years after that fateful day at the Chicago airport, they married, not because of any arrangement, but because they had built something genuine together. Their wedding blended their cultures, with Jack's family learning traditional Nigerian dances, while Adaze's brothers teased Jack about finally mastering how to properly eat fufu. The farm flourished under their combined vision, expanding to include educational programs for immigrant farmers and partnerships with African agricultural initiatives. And when locals or newcomers assumed Adaize was Jack's mail-order bride, they would both laugh before setting the record straight. Actually, I rejected him initially, Adaize would say with a mischievous smile. He had to work quite hard to convince me he was worthy. And Jack, looking at her with unmistakable admiration, would add, "Best rejection I ever got. Made me earn what matters most."